And also to have degrees that can be done in a very condensed way is very important to the students that we're going to be teaching in the future. The other thing is, because we live in a rapidly changing world, the knowledge and information that we're teaching them is going to change. So we need to think more about refresher courses, coming back. An MBA should not be a one-time experience, coming back and doing your refresher MBA, toning up periodically to what is happening in the world, because information becomes irrelevant much quicker today than ever before. And so we need to think then about the kind of time frame in which we do things. So we need that innovation and that creativity. Experiential learning. One of the things that we've done at UEL, particularly in the business school, is really embed a lot more experiential learning. So if we're teaching the students in the morning about bonds and bond ratings, we take them out in the afternoon to Standard & Poor's and Moody's. Really also taking advantage of your location, learning how to really integrate that into what you do in terms of your curriculum is very, very important as we go forward. So just, in terms of thinking about what we're doing at the Royal Docks Business School, and just give you some ideas, just some food for thought of ways that we're trying to address these four kind of critical areas within business. One is, and again, we're like all business schools, we're in constant psychoanalysis with our MBA. It's a constant worry and concern, and we're always figuring out, how we can get a little more value added. And as I said, one of the things that I've stepped back recently and said, what we can't do is get too much. And it's really important to be able to prioritize what you're doing and why you're doing it. We do have specialized tracks on our MBA, and this is something that the students want. Even in a one-year MBA, we have a one-year MBA, and we also have an optional abroad semester. And again, I think where collaborations are much more important today in that sense of being able to integrate your curriculum, be flexible with your curriculum. One of the things that we've had to do is be a little more flexible about what our students do when they go abroad, so that we, for me, I will say, the worst thing is when I see a student who's just come back from, Malaysia, and I look down there and I see that they took Accounting 101, Finance 203, and I see no culture course, nothing about the place they had, nothing in terms of the history, and it breaks my heart, because these are golden opportunities for these students to really get that, increase their cultural competency. And so we do have to be a little more flexible about what we will accept. The other thing is in terms of use of technology, iPads, these sorts of things, they're not just a fad. And it's really important that we as institutions stay up, keep our students current. I have a very good director of my MBA. They've been looking into what we can do with a tablet. And I have to say, as somebody just a little too old to get into all of that, I myself was blown away with all the applications, ways that you can enhance your course, the way that you can do distance learning, the way that students can interact anytime, any place. So again, we have to make sure that we stay relevant with technology, and that we're constantly innovating and updating. Again, study abroad, international bursaries. One of the things that we found is we have a lot of students from various backgrounds that for family reasons, sometimes they're mature students, sometimes for religious reasons, they can't necessarily go abroad for a long period of time. So we have international bursaries that allow them to go just a weekend, to kind of, in a way, give them that sort of experience. The other thing that we can do today is, because we've got this really globalized world, we can create a global experience, an international experience in our local environment. So they don't necessarily always have to go away. And the other way that you can do that is by really having that integrated program, taking advantage, seeing your international students as really your strength, and thinking much more consciously about how you integrate them into the classroom experience. and how you get that value added from them. We also have a program called Global Scholars Program. It's a service learning program. And again, the idea is it's an international service learning program for students when they're studying entrepreneurship, where they do an enterprise project, but they do it in the nonprofit sector. And they work with students in another university, they Skype, so that it gets that real integration between the two locations. And one of the reasons we developed this program was to help address this problem of when our students go abroad, we want them not to just be there at another institution. We want to create experiences, ways, programs for them to really integrate into the local society and understand the issues that that society faces. We also have a program, we call it our Elite Student Team, where we select students each year that we mentor, we coach, we give them networking skills, we make them an outward face for the university. What we're doing with this group is we really want to track them into their careers. We're going to do a longitudinal study to see how, over time, what programs make the difference. So it's really important because there is so much that we make sure that we track them, so that when you develop these programs that you're really collecting the data and that you're really tracking these students into the future, creating that kind of longitudinal data so that you can really assess what was the impact, not just at the moment, did they like the program, was the program good, but how did that program actually change their life over time? Did it make a difference in their career? So that we can figure out what the best practices are and the programs in a time, particularly when we have limited resources, where we want to put our kind of value added. Again, we have a program we run at Canary Wharf, which is, of course, the financial district of London, which is experiential learning, where students take a module there, and then they also interact with businesses and have speakers. So all of these programs are very important, but what is really crucial is there at the end there, our business advisory board, that we make sure that we go back and we talk to the employers, that we make sure that we stay in sync. One of the things that we're developing at UEL is also, we have our local business advisory board, but in recognition that we have a lot of international students, we have students that'll go abroad, they'll work abroad, we're creating an international business advisory board as well to sit alongside our local advisory board so that we get that kind of input, so that we're developing a curriculum that's relevant. Not just relevant for us, but also relevant for employers. Because I think, as it was said earlier, what we don't want to do is get, as academics, so caught up in what we're doing and thinking that we're developing the right programs and find out that it's really not what the market needs. And because the market is changing so rapidly, it's imperative that business schools in particular stay in contact, stay in sync with what's going on in the business world. So just in conclusion, we really see business schools across the globe really recognizing this changing world. We see a lot more integration, we see a lot more movement of students, and so it's really important for us to really embrace that and to take advantage of it and to make it relevant for our students and for ourselves and for employers. And to do that, then, we need to have a curriculum, as I said, it's flexible, it's interactive, it's engaging, and it's experiential in what we do and how we do it. Thank you.